Hello, everybody, and welcome to Live with the Pricing Lady. I'm Janine, your hostess. I work with small business owners to help them know what to charge their customers so that they can close more deals and grow their profitability. Welcome, everybody, and I'm extremely happy to have a very special guest with me today, Miss Amanda Berlin. Hello, Amanda.
Hi, Janine. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so glad you're here. She's coming to us all the way from New Jersey, correct?
Yes. Yep. Right outside Manhattan in
Yeah,
in New
exactly.
Jersey. Yep.
So I'm very excited to have her with us. We've known each other for about 2.5 years, two and a half years now.
It's got to be, yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm really excited. Amanda, why don't you introduce yourself briefly for everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Amanda Berlin. And as Janine put up there on the screen, I'm a publicity strategist and a business consultant for entrepreneurs. And that means that I used to work in the corporate PR agency world in New York City. And now I use my powers for good. So I help entrepreneurs figure out how to get in front of their ideal customers in a bigger, better, more aligned way. And as a means to draw more of the right customers to them, more the right clients, the people who they really want to work with, the people who are going to be enthusiastic about the work because they're getting out there with the right message in front of the right people. And so I teach media relations, but I also teach an entire framework really of visibility, from how to create alliances with the right partners in order to be seen in front of their audiences, how to book speaking engagements, how to host your own events as marketing tools, build your own stage, so to speak, and also how to put yourself out there to be interviewed or featured. And that's it's what I love to do. And kind of on a philosophical level, I think it's really important that those of us who are in an entrepreneurial endeavor, who are doing our passion, who are, living our purpose, get out there and raise our voices, because as we all know, no matter where we are on this earth, there is enough vitriol out there. There are enough loud, negative voices that it's really important that we, especially women, raise our voices and talk about the good work that we're doing so that we champion ourselves, but also so that the people who need us can find us and we can have more of an impact.
Right, exactly. I think that's fantastic. And it's true that there's a lot of noise out there. And Amanda is really brilliant at helping people kind of get their voice to be heard by the people that need to hear it, right? That's really important. It's not about getting to everyone, but getting to the right people.
Exactly.
Fantastic. So Amanda, there were two things that we wanted to do today. And the first was for you to share a bit of your own pricing journey. So your journey with, sorry, I accidentally hit the wrong button. This is live, everyone. So we are having fun here.
You are not only host, but you are also technical director. And yes,
exactly.
Calling the shots, quite literally.
Exactly.
Camera one.
Amanda, why don't you tell us a little bit about when you started your business, how did you approach pricing?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I first started, I was kind of a glorified freelancer. So I took on projects and I priced them out maybe on like an hourly, how long I thought it would take me to do the project. And then I gradually moved over to a more of a consulting model. And I started to offer a service over the course of several months. And I priced that as a monthly fee. And for, a certain amount per month, you had access to me for one-on-one work. And we had a contract for 6 months and you paid me on a monthly basis.
Okay.
Then what happened was I actually started to walk my own talk and put myself out there and get speaking engagements. So the visibility tactics that worked best for me were speaking and events and collaboration. I guess I've sort of amassed a natural network, as you have. You're a very powerful networker and you're out there a lot in your community. But speaking was very powerful for me. So I had a speaking engagement that got me in front of a lot of my ideal clients. And this was sort of a turning point for me in the business and it resulted in sort of a pricing crisis. A crisis.
A crisis. I'm going to use that.
Yes, you can have it. Yep. So I had this pricing crisis because I initiated this new program in response to the exposure that I had gotten through this speaking engagement and the interest in my work. I launched this sort of mastermind one-on-one hybrid that was part group work and part one-on-one with me, but I priced it at higher than what my extended one-on-one work was. So it became a crisis because people that came into the group program were paying more than people who were working with me one-on-one. Right. And for a period of time, I didn't really know what to do about that. I couldn't raise prices on the people who are already in contract with me for the one-on-one work. Right. So I just kind of waited it out. And it just so happened that a client came in and almost spontaneously, I was like, okay, this is the new price for the one-on-one work. And I was, okay, crisis averted, crisis solved. I knew that I needed to raise the price on the one-on-one work so that it made sense with the group program. And I just had to, I think that my takeaway, and you can probably speak more to like how to intentionally approach a crisis like that. But my takeaway was like, I just needed to wait for the right moment, the right client to bring in at that higher level.
Right. And that's, it's really interesting. So a couple of points there. One, and this is something that I teach in my programs, but I haven't communicated enough outside the programs, is that the price of one offer in your portfolio of everything you offer has a relationship to the other parts of your offer. And so sometimes you need to make adjustments because you bring something new in or you get rid of something. It can also be a strategy for increasing prices. You bring in offers at different price points while you're phasing out things at lower price points. So this whole dynamic aspect of, when to do things and what to do with your pricing is something that I would say most businesses kind of develop, as you did, based on intuition.
Yep.
Which isn't a bad thing. And then once you develop that intuition, you can actually do it more purposefully later on. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. That's really interesting. So hello to all of you that are out there. Thank you for joining us. And if you have any questions, please chat, put them in the comments and we'll try and get to them. So I'm trying to think of how one asked.
Elise is watching. Hi, Elise.
Hi, Elise. Exactly. So when you think about the relationship that you've had with pricing in your business, how would you describe that?
I would describe, so I've always had, I think my immediate reaction is to go to money mindset when it comes to pricing. I've always had a really, enjoyable relationship with money.
Excellent.
Yeah. I mean, there were times where I mean, in the beginning, and I've written about this recently, I would stand, in the very beginning of my business, I remember walking down the street in Manhattan at one point and standing on the sidewalk and being like, I am responsible for supporting myself and my child. And there's like, the money is not there. And, I don't know what I'm going to do. So, but like, I'm not going to die right here. Like, like there were some bleak moments. And so like, if I'm not going to die, then I know that I'm going to get through this. But I think that relates to pricing in that, when you're kind of cobbling together an income through freelance and project work, the pricing becomes a little bit tenuous because you're trading dollars for hours. And if you don't account for revisions that your clients might request or changes they want, then you could really be in a pickle. So early on, I think it was, just sort of like looking at what the industry standards were and seeing what felt comfortable to me. But then I really, I think I always sort of energy tested the way a price felt to me. So like, could I imagine myself saying this to someone on the phone or in a Zoom call when we're chatting? But then also I have to say, working with an expert to help me and also to push me a little bit and suggest these higher price points, even when I'm like, I don't think, like the energy test, and I'm like, I don't think I could say that. And my the other response is like, give it a shot.
Right. It was funny. Earlier this week, I had a live session with a group of people, and some people had sent in questions in advance. And when we got on the call, I asked one of them, I said, can you read me what you wrote? And she read her question. And then I said, when you read that out loud, what do you hear? She goes, that all the answers are in what I wrote.
Yeah, it's true. When you work with someone,
she made her case for what she wanted to do. She just felt uncomfortable with it, but she knew what the answer was.
But she needed you to draw it out of her. She needed to be in that situation so that you, as the external party, could be like, oh no, you have the solution. You just need to act on it now.
Just accept it.
Yeah.
So, Amanda, one of the other things that we wanted to talk about was pricing and its relationship to visibility.
Yeah. So happy to take that one and run with it. So one of the things that has come to light over the last year or so in the work that I've been doing with clients, particularly in this program that I run called Pitch to Prominence, is which is like that holistic visibility strategy that really identifies the strategy that's going to elicit the goal that you want. Because I have a lot of people that come to me thinking that I'm just about media relations, and they're like, I just need to be on podcasts. And I'm like, I don't know, do you really? So let's look at, what you really want to achieve here. So anyway, one of the things that has come to light is the fact that in order to be visible, my clients need to feel like everything is lined up in their business, that all of their offers, their pricing, and even the way that they handle inquiries, their sales conversations, that they have that on lock, so that they can field all of the inquiries that are going to come in as a result of their visibility. Right. So one of the things that can actually prevent you from being visible is if you don't feel like all of that is aligned for you. Right. So like when I had my crisis, I, potentially would have avoided having conversations about that higher level work because I felt like my pricing was all off. So I think possibly, and just kind of looking back at it, I may have held back on putting that service out there because I didn't know how to price it. And eventually a client came in and I was like, oh, this is the client who will pay that higher price and I can just say it here and now. And I did, but it's an inhibiting factor when you feel like your foundation is not aligned. It prevents you from putting yourself out there.
Absolutely, it does. I tell people this, I talk about this quite often because it's hard to feel confident in something that you've just pulled out of the air or somewhere else, that you don't have that you don't have any foundation for. And I think a lot of people, when it comes to their pricing, they don't feel confident in what they have because they've kind of made it up, and it's not based on anything concrete. And then but they feel this sense of being unsettled or unsure. And then that keeps them from having those conversations, from going to those events, from speaking on stage, from calling customers and, facing the fact that, somebody may ask them what they charge.
Yeah. those things can be really scary. And so
Yeah.
the foundation is so important. And I've actually begun integrating that into my work because I realize how essential it is to feel strong in that foundation in order to be visible and put yourself out there.
Right, right. So can we flip that around for a moment and talk about, can pricing help you with your visibility?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I have another client who so what comes to mind is really interesting, I think, because so another kind of like philosophical foundation to my work is that the public relations like agency machine, that complex that's out there, that existing paradigm was actually not built for us, for entrepreneurs, for solo business owners. And so one of the selling points for my business, I think, is that I've created an opportunity for you to get the knowledge that comes from those big agencies at a price point that is built for a solo entrepreneur, where you're going to actually take on a little bit more of the boots on the ground work, and you're going to implement on your own, but you're going to make those connections yourself out there in the world that you can capitalize on over time. But you're not going to have to pay a multi 5-figure retainer for 6 to 12 months minimum, which is unreasonable to expect of a business owner like us. So in that sense, I think that pricing can be a visibility tool. And I also had, so I'm not the only person who operates a business like that. You actually have a business like that, where people will hire big consulting firms to come in or companies, large companies will hire big consulting firms to come in and advise them on structuring and pricing their products and services. I have another client who does market research, and she is, her industry, companies will hire these big market research firms, but like the local yoga studio can't hire like a big market research firm to figure out what, time their audience, their students want class in the next week. So, or in the next session, whatever. So that's something that I've worked on with her, is like, how do we frame the accessibility of your pricing in a way that becomes a selling point?
Right. Exactly. Pricing becomes part of your message, and sort of, it can also help you, it should help you target who you're after in terms of the ideal clients, right? So if you have the wrong price, it may make you visible, but not in the best way. They say any publicity is good publicity, but
no, it has to be like on brand, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's why we say accessible instead of like, I'm cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. Make it accessible for people. Exactly. Very good. So, Amanda, we need to actually wrap this up. I can't believe time is almost out.
I know. This is so fun.
I know. I always tell people, they're like, aren't you afraid of being live? And I was like, no, actually, it's kind of fun. And it's just like having conversations with friends like you do.
You're an excellent host too.
Exactly. Yeah. So Amanda, what is it that you think that people should know when it comes to pricing in their businesses? What's something that you've learned that you think is worth sharing?
Well, certainly working with someone in it who can approach your business from an external capacity and give you the, like Elise said, confidence equals closing sales, can really give you the confidence that you're doing this right. Like, I think that you and I both, we can lean into that message that like, we can help you go out there with confidence that you're quote unquote doing it right, because we're going to give you that outside perspective that gives you, a sense of how to move it forward. In terms of, I even forgot what the question was.
Something you'd recommend, or a tip for them in terms of pricing in their business?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly, I am a huge advocate of outside perspective. I would say that's my number one tip. And then also, I think doing what feels right to you with that outside perspective. That's another thing that I always advocate. Like, the strategies that we put forward are never, the only way to do something. Yes. So if you can take that, integrate it into what feels right to you, and then run with it, then that's a great way to operate as well.
Yeah. I think that's a very fair point, because trusting ourselves is probably the thing that many people do the least, but can actually benefit doing from a bit more.
Yes, for sure.
And but then also, when to get support and when no to trust it, and know when to trust yourself at the same time. So
yes, I love it.
Yeah. Thank you, Amanda. So Amanda, where can people reach you if they want to find out more about?
I love that question, because I love to hear from people. Go to amandaberlin.com. You can reach me through the form on that site if you go to connect. You can, those emails come right to my inbox. So shoot me an email with any questions you have, or if you want to learn more about what I have coming up this spring in a new cohort of Pitch to Prominence.
Yeah, no, it's a great program. I worked with Amanda, like I said, a few years back, and really enjoyed it, found it very helpful. And so check that out if you have the chance, everyone. I'd like to thank those of you. Yeah, thanks, Amanda. I'd like to thank those of you who joined us live. So I saw Elise and Andalib and a few others of you come on and join us live. So thank you for that. And if you have any questions, be sure to put them in the comments and we'll get to them. If you'd like to find out more about how to work with me, you can also go to thepricinglady.com, and you'll find there more information about what I do, how I can help you, and you'll find, of course, some little goodies to get you started as well. So go to www.thepricinglady.com. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Until then, enjoy pricing, everyone.
Bye.